Are you really prepared for the moment America goes dark? Because the truth is, most people aren't even close. The Department of Energy admits the U.S. now suffers over 500% more major blackouts than it did in the early 2000s. And the grid is so fragile that a single heat wave, a cyber attack, or one overloaded transformer can knock out power to tens of millions in seconds. And when that happens, the clock on your survival doesn't start at hour 1. It starts at minute 1. Because that's when refrigerators stop protecting your food, water pressure begins dropping across entire cities, and 911 call centers get flooded so badly that response times spike by 300%. Panic doesn't take hours to set in. It hits instantly. Humans lose up to 40% of their decision-making ability in sudden darkness. So let me ask you directly, because dancing around this won't save anyone. If the lights died right now, would your home shift into action or into chaos? Would you protect your family in the first 10 minutes? Or would you waste your only window of control doing what most Americans do, is staring at a dead screen, hoping someone else fixes it? This isn't doom. This is logistics. And in a blackout, logistics decide who stays calm and who joins the desperate crowds looking for light, warmth, food, or answers no one can give them. If you're ready to learn the only 7 moves that matter in the first 10 minutes, the ones that separate the prepared from the victims, then stay close. Because once the grid goes silent, you don't get time back. You only get consequences. Number 7. Identify the real cause before you make a single move. Before you even touch a flashlight or yell to the kids that everything's fine, you need to understand one thing. Not all blackouts are created equal. And if you can't diagnose what kind of blackout just hit your street, you're flying blind. I'm serious. The difference between a transformer pop and an infrastructure failure can mean the difference between a sleepy 2-hour inconvenience and a 3-day collapse where the grocery store's empty, the gas pumps die, and the neighbors start treating your house like a soft target. And Americans love pretending they'll just figure it out. But data says otherwise. According to the DOE, over 92% of major outages in the last decade were caused by cascading grid failures, not a single downed line. That means once the first domino falls, the next 50 follow. So the second the lights flicker off, you don't stand there waiting for them to come back on like a sitcom character. You start gathering intel. Step outside for 5 seconds and scan the horizon. Are the streetlights out? Are the neighbors' windows dark? Is the entire block silent? That tells you instantly whether you're dealing with a localized line trip or a grid-level collapse. Then listen for the hum. Americans don't realize how loud the world is until it goes quiet. If you don't hear AC compressors, highway noise, or the distant thump of substation transformers, that's your first red flag. Next, check your phone once, not 30 times. If LTE is still active but data is crawling, that means network congestion, a sign people are panicking. If LTE is dead entirely, that could indicate a tower outage or worse, a regional grid event. After the 2022 Dallas substation failure, cell service degraded by 70% within 12 minutes because towers burned through their battery backups. The same thing will happen on your street. Finally, smell the air. I'm not joking. The scent of melted insulation, ozone, or burning plastic can signal a blown transformer, which means your power crew might be hours away, or not coming at all. Point is, information is your first survival asset. If you can't diagnose the threat, you can't prioritize your next move, and those 10 minutes will slip through your fingers like the neighbors hope when they realize rebooting the Wi-Fi won't fix anything. You want control? Start with clarity. Number 6. Control your light before it controls you. Once you know the blackout is real and not a 30-second hiccup, your very next move, and I mean immediately because people in panic waste light faster than they waste food, is to get control of every single lumen in your house. Light becomes currency in a blackout, and Americans burn through it like it's unlimited because they've never had to ration it. You think I'm exaggerating? During the 2021 Texas grid failure, households that used flashlights casually ran every battery down within 6 hours. Meanwhile, the families who practiced light discipline made their AA stash last 4 to 6 days, simply because they didn't blast 800 lumen tactical beams every time they wanted to find socks. The very first thing you must do is kill all non-essential illumination. No phone screens lighting up the room. No LED lanterns glowing at full power. No candles flickering like a welcome sign to the whole neighborhood. Start with low light zones, red filter flashlights, dim lantern modes, even glow sticks you cracked 3 years ago from a Halloween bucket. Red light maintains night vision and doesn't silhouette you in your windows like a billboard that says, "This house has working supplies." And do not under any circumstances walk around with your phone flashlight on. That thing eats battery faster than TikTok, and your phone is not a flashlight. It's your emergency lifeline to outside intel. Studies from ReadyGov show that the average American has less than 11% battery when their phone fully dies during an outage, because they kept checking social media instead of conserving. Not you. Not after this. Next, centralize your lighting. Pick one room, your command center, and use a single reliable light source aimed at the ceiling to reflect and diffuse. You'll get 3 times the usable illumination for a quarter of the energy. Then create dark zones intentionally. Why? Because intruders hate approaching unknown spaces. A blackout isn't just a power failure. It's a shift in the behavioral economy of an entire neighborhood. You don't want to become the bright, warm, well-lit target. You want to become the shadow. When Hurricane Sandy hit New Jersey, people didn't go after the darkest houses. They went after the ones glowing like lighthouses. Control your light early, or you lose control of everything else later. Number 5. Shut down your silent killers before they turn your house into a death trap. Here's one step almost no one thinks about in those first frantic 10 minutes. And it's the one that kills more Americans during blackouts than looters. Dehydration or food spoilage combined. Appliance backflow and electrical rebound fires. When the grid fails, every device in your home is frozen mid-cycle. Your washer stops full of water. Your AC compressor slams to a halt. Your fridge coils start heating instead of cooling. And every cheap surge protector you bought at Walmart suddenly becomes a liability. And when the power comes back, whether in 10 minutes or 10 hours, the surge hit can be catastrophic. According to the National Fire Protection Association, over 25,000 home fires every year are caused by power restoration surges, and nearly all of them begin in moments where homeowners weren't paying attention. So in the first 10 minutes of a blackout, you must shut down the silent killers before they turn your home into the neighborhood's cautionary tale. Step 1. Unplug everything with a heating element. Space heaters, hair dryers, toasters, air fryers, electric kettles. You don't want these firing up unattended when the grid jolts back. Step 2. Flip your HVAC thermostat to off. If your system tries to restart under unstable voltage, it can blow the capacitor, a repair that cost Texans thousands during the 2021 freeze. Step 3. Close your gas valves if you smell anything unusual. When the power dies, electronic igniters and safety switches fail, meaning a tiny gas leak becomes a major explosion risk. After Hurricane Ida, Louisiana saw a spike in residential gas explosions not during the storm, but during the blackout after, when nobody realized their pilot lights had gone out. Step 4. Secure your generator. Americans misuse generators more than any other emergency tool. Never start it in the garage, never run it near open windows, and never backfeed your house unless you have a legally installed transfer switch. Carbon monoxide builds fast, odorless, invisible, deadly. The CDC reports that CO poisoning hospitalizations triple during U.S. blackouts, and over 85% come from improper generator placement. Finally, walk your house and listen. Water pumps may be stuck, sump pumps may be offline, and freezers may be clicking dangerously. You aren't just turning things off. You are preventing a cascade of hazards that turn one blackout into a multi-thousand-dollar disaster. A smart homeowner eliminates threats before restoring comfort. The unprepared do the opposite, and they pay for it in smoke, insurance claims, and regret. Number 4. Fortify your home's air before it fills with toxic, invisible threats. Long before people run out of food, light, or even patience, the very first thing that silently turns against them in a blackout is the air inside their own home. And nearly every American overlooks this. Indoor air quality collapses fast the moment the grid goes down, because the systems that quietly keep you alive, ventilation fans, HVAC circulation, purification filters, go offline instantly, and in just 10 minutes, your home can start accumulating carbon dioxide, VOCs, humidity, mold spores, smoke particulates from neighbors' candles or grills, and the fumes from whatever appliance was running when the outage hit. After Hurricane Sandy, The CDC recorded a 42% increase in respiratory-related ER visits within 24 hours of the blackout, not from trauma or cold, but from contaminated indoor air. You need to get ahead of that threat immediately. Your first move is to create passive airflow without sacrificing safety. That means cracking windows strategically, no more than 1 to 2 inches, to allow cross-ventilation without letting the cold in or broadcasting that your house is awake and active. Next, deploy every manual purification tool you own. Charcoal bags, baking soda boxes, emergency HEPA filters with hand crank fans, even damp cloths over vents to trap particulates. It sounds primitive, but in blackout conditions, primitive works. If you have asthma, COPD, allergies, or kids with sensitive lungs, this becomes life or death. And here's what almost nobody knows. When humidity spikes above 60% indoors, which happens shockingly fast when HVAC goes offline, your risk of mold growth doubles every 12 hours. That means your blackout could turn into a respiratory crisis before anyone even realizes what's happening. Keep a battery-powered hygrometer in your survival kit. If humidity climbs, open a high window a little wider and a low window slightly less to force convection upward. This is the same airflow trick used in passive survival shelters in Alaska to control moisture in sub-zero environments. Finally, be aware of neighbors. In blackouts, Americans panic burn anything they can find to generate heat. Treated lumber, old clothes, plastic, even particle board. Those fumes drift into your home and accumulate. Close wind-facing windows immediately if the air smells wrong. Your lungs don't get a second chance, and in a prolonged outage, medical help is rarely available. When the lights die, the air becomes unpredictable, and if you don't tame it in the first 10 minutes, it will punish you the next morning. Keep the air clean, or you'll lose the strength you need for everything else. Number 3. Gather your people before the house turns into a maze of panic. One of the biggest mistakes Americans make during a blackout is assuming their family will figure it out in the dark. They won't. People freeze, shout from different rooms, and make wild decisions because darkness rewires the human brain. According to a Stanford behavioral study, cognitive performance drops up to 40% under sudden darkness and uncertainty. That means the people you love most become disoriented, clumsy, and emotionally volatile in minutes. So your third step is to assemble everyone into a single safe zone before panic fractures the household. This isn't about kumbaya. It's about regaining command. The moment the lights go out, you call a roll. Everyone meet in the living room now. Not in 5 minutes. Not after someone finishes brushing their teeth. Now. Once your people are in the same room, fear evaporates by half because humans are wired to calm when they see each other's faces, even in low light. Get kids off staircases, get spouses out of bathrooms, get elders away from trip hazards. After the 2011 Southwest blackout, trauma reports showed that 28% of home injuries occurred in the first 15 minutes because people tried to walk around alone. Don't let that be your house. Once everyone is gathered, assign micro roles immediately. One person responsible for flashlights and glow sticks, one for securing pets, one for verifying stove knobs and appliances are off, one for placing towels or blankets under drafty doors. These small jobs activate the brain and prevent panic. And don't underestimate pets. During outages, dogs panic, cats bolt, and both can knock over candles or escape through cracked windows. Contain them early. Next, take attendance of critical items. Medications, inhalers, baby formula, EpiPens, glasses. In blackouts, Americans lose track of life-saving meds more than any other resource. And here's where most people fail. They let the household drift apart again. Don't. Keep everyone centralized until the situation stabilizes. A blackout is not the time for teenagers to wander upstairs because they're bored. The more isolated people become, the less rational their behavior. After Louisiana's 2020 outages, emergency personnel reported dozens of injuries caused by people wandering around their homes alone with dead phones and no lights. Gather your people, keep them close, and turn chaos into coordination. Because if your household fractures in the first 10 minutes, the rest of your plan collapses instantly. Number 2. Perform a full house sweep before danger finds you first. With your people gathered, your light under control, and your air secured, your next move is one nobody ever teaches, but every survival expert knows. You must sweep your entire home before the blackout sweeps you. Think of it like clearing a building after a breach. You're not looking for intruders, though that's possible too. You're looking for hazards that become lethal when the power goes down. The NFPA reports that during blackouts, house fires increase by 260%, not because of explosions or widespread chaos, but because homeowners never checked for the ticking time bombs left behind in the dark. So, armed with your red light, you move room to room. Slow, methodical, no assumptions. Start with the kitchen. Are the stove knobs fully off? Did someone leave a pot with oil on a burner that was on 5 minutes ago? Did the dishwasher stop mid-cycle with steaming water inside? These things ignite later when the temperature drops and materials shift. Next, hit the laundry room. Washers and dryers hold heat long after power cuts. In the 2021 San Diego blackout, a dryer fire started 37 minutes after the grid failed because nobody checked it. Hold your palm near it. If it's still warm, crack the door so heat escapes. Then, the garage. This is where most Americans store gasoline, paints, propane, and tools, all in unventilated spaces. If your garage door is stuck closed, heat and fumes can accumulate to dangerous levels. Open it manually a few inches to release trapped chemicals, no more. You're venting, not broadcasting your readiness. Head to bedrooms next. Candles left near curtains, space heaters still plugged in, charging cables lying under blankets. These are all ignition sources. The CPSC reports that phone chargers account for half of all bedroom fires during outages because people forget they were running when the blackout hit. Finally, check the basement. Some pumps stop working the second the power drops. If rain is coming or recently came, you're facing water intrusion. A flood during a blackout is a double disaster. Mold plus electrical danger when the grid comes back. Place sandbags at the lowest entry drain and close off airflow pathways. This sweep isn't paranoia. It's prevention. You're eliminating threats that are invisible now but murderous later. If you don't sweep your house will sweep you right off your feet when the danger finally emerges. Get ahead of it. Number 1. Lock down your street before the street locks down you. Now we reach the part nobody wants to admit is necessary, but every disaster record proves beyond argument. When the grid dies, your street becomes its own ecosystem. And ecosystems without rules get violent fast. You need to lock down your street, not just your home, because blackouts change human behavior in minutes. In the 1977 NYC blackout, looting began within 3 minutes of the first transformer blowing. In the 2003 Northeast blackout, police reported a 22% surge in opportunistic crime in the first hour. And those events happened in cities with massive police presence. Now imagine your quiet American suburb at 10 p.m. when every porch light dies and every ring camera goes blind. You're not just securing property, you're stabilizing your environment before lawlessness creeps in. Start by stepping outside for a controlled assessment. Don't bring bright lights. You're gathering intel, not advertising strength. Check who else is awake, who's panicking, who's leaving their house unsecured. Identify the houses with kids, seniors, or medical devices. They will become pressure points later. Then comes the strategic part. Link up with your capable neighbors, not the ones who panic and scream, the ones who move with purpose, the ones who already have a flashlight clipped to their shirt or are checking their breaker panel, instead of Googling the problem. Form a micro-alliance. A 3-house network can deter criminals better than any single household. After Hurricane Michael, small neighborhood alliances prevented dozens of home invasions simply by organizing patrol rotations and sharing intel about approaching vehicles. Next, reshape your home's exterior to be psychologically unappealing. Bring in valuable items from porches. Close blinds fully. Move trash cans near vulnerable windows as improvised barriers. Criminals, especially during blackouts, choose the path of least resistance. A house that looks fortified sends them to the next property. Then establish sound discipline. No clanking metal, no loud conversations, no barking dogs if you can help it. Sound travels 3 to 5 times farther in blackout conditions because ambient noise collapses. Finally, if you legally own defensive tools, stage them but don't flaunt them. Desperation rises fast when fear becomes collective. Blackouts aren't just shortages of electricity. They're shortages of certainty, and people will do anything to get it back. Lock down your street before someone else claims it, because once fear walks your block, it doesn't leave quietly. And if you don't set the tone in the first hour, the street will set it for you, and you won't like the rules it chooses.